Hey everybody. I just want to give a big shout out to Nintendo for providing us with that new Switch OLED. Yeah, I was really excited about it, and you saw I get a little disappointed. I compared the screen sizes because one of them, they both seem to be about the same size. That isn't why I compared them. I just wanted to see the difference, and then I noticed that it was. But the thing is, I didn't realize it, but well, I did realize it later. Um, I found out myself that the old Switch had something like a it was the same size screen, but you didn't use the whole screen. For example, when you're watching a movie and it's in widescreen, it only takes up the movie only takes up part of the screen that you're watching. That's essentially what the Nintendo Switch did with its original model. The new OLED Switch um, doesn't have that cut out, so you get to see the whole screen as being a screen. Um, yeah, so unlike widescreen, it's like the all four sides, the top, left, right, and bottom are all black. Now, in widescreen, it would just be the top and the bottom, but this was it's like it's the left and right sides are black too. So yeah, but with the new OLED, there's none of that. They just cut that completely out. I didn't measure it, but I do believe it's truly a 7-inch screen that um, it's a 7-inch display rather, and the other one was like a 6.2-inch display or something. I don't remember exactly, but it was like the same screen size, different display size. That's the difference. Um, so I'm sorry, Nintendo. Shout outs to Nintendo. Sorry, I got that mixed up. I didn't realize it because I was just unboxing it at the time. I got my Switch on right now. Let's play some music from a game. It's It's the morning and I'm putting Diablo on, but it is the month of Halloween, so I think it works anyway. Um, yeah. So what else does it have? It has the updated storage capacity, 64 gigabytes rather than 32. It's got the LAN port, the Ethernet port, so you can have high speed, like much better online gameplay quality. It's got the really great stand. I feel like I'm missing something. Wait, got this right here. Oh yeah, it's just the color schematic is the only other difference, which is a really great difference. I really like the color schematic. That's Diablo 2 in the background. I'm not gonna play yet, but I just wanted to turn it on, give us a little background noise, background music. Um, what was I going to say next? So yeah, where do you think Nintendo will go from here? Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comments section below. If you have anything you'd like to say about it, I'm going to go into what I think is going to happen next. The Switch will probably be upgraded. So when will it be upgraded? So the Switch came out, I actually remember this, March 3rd, which is 3/3. No, pretty easy to remember. 3/3 in 2017. So, how many years has it been out, and what do we expect its lifespan to be? Most systems are out for 7 years. Um, so, 2017 to March 3rd, 2018, that would be the first year anniversary. That's 1 year past. 2019, 2 years past. 2020, 3 years past. 2021, which was this year, 4 years past. Next year will be 5 years past. 2023 will be 6 years past. 2024 will be 7 years past, and that's likely when the system's going to uh, they're gonna get an upgraded. They're gonna get a new system, or maybe in 2025 because the Nintendo Switch is such a success that they might wait until 2025 to release a new console. Um, so I think yeah, I think the new console would come in either 2024 or 2025. Yeah. Now, what about? Okay, the music stopped. All right, so there have definitely been some patterns with Nintendo. Not every system does this, but I mean not every company does this with their video game consoles. But the NES upgraded to the SNES, right? It's sort of an upgrade. I mean, obviously, it's better quality and everything, but it's not really. Can't play the NES games on the SNES. Different controllers, but Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, it even sounds like an upgrade. You know what I mean? It really sounds like an upgraded console. So I really like the SNES. They had a great controller. It was a really great upgrade, which was even before my time. My first system was an N64. I was alive when the Super Nintendo came out, but um, yeah, I didn't ever have one. Well, and then there's the games, too. The games have better quality graphics. And then the N64 was a standalone system with four controllers. So with the N64, the four controllers was a real upgrade to the way video games are played nowadays. Actually, they haven't been doing well. Yeah, it was a great upgrade. Now you can play a lot of four player games, split screen, or all on one, and maybe not even split screen. Super Smash Brothers is all on one picture, but you can play four-player games. The PlayStation, I'm not sure when they invented their multi-tap. I mean, you can get 8 players on that, maybe even 14. I don't know how deep it goes. Don't know how many players you can have, but it's not like you can really get more than 8 players in a room very easily. Yeah, but yeah, the four player N64 capabilities were awesome, and the N64 had a lot of really great games, and a lot of them had a lot of great four-player capabilities. Now, the GameCube continued that tradition. They had quite a few. Technically, the GameCube had way more games than the N64, but the N64's quality of gaming, the games that came out from the N64 were way better than the GameCube. I gotta say, the GameCube, yeah, they have some good four-player games like Super Smash Bros. Melee. What else was there? Let's look at my games. Ah, my Alolan Ninetales fell down. You guys might not know this, but there's Time Splitters 2 and Time Splitters Future Perfect, which is the third one. That's a great four-player game. F Zero GX, which I kind of suck at. I beat F Zero X, but F Zero GX has just been too hard. But that's four-player, and that's really fun. What other four-player games were there? There were more. I just can't think of them. Come on, stand up, you ice fox. All right. But the what? So I said the GameCube didn't have many great games, but there's a great redeeming quality in the GameCube, and that is, well, there are a lot of great redeeming qualities in the GameCube, but the main one is that they have the Game Boy player, which you can attach to the bottom of your GameCube. You can play any Game Boy game on your GameCube play with a Game Boy player. You can play. I'll say that again. You can play any Game Boy game on your GameCube Game Boy player. You just attach it to the bottom of the Switch and put the cartridge in. The little. Um, let's go back to GameCube in a second. So I want to talk about other systems that are. So N64 is a standalone, as I said. GameCube wasn't, but let's go look back. Game Boy. There was the Game Boy, which was pretty big, but it was portable. And there's the Game Boy Pocket, which is the smallest of any of the game. Okay, maybe not any. It was one of the smallest Game Boy systems. There was the Game Boy Color, so it added color, and that one was even smaller than the original Game Boy. And then there was the Game Boy Advance, which had even smaller cartridges. So you can't play a Game Boy Advance game on any of the other Game Boys. That's the difference between them. The first three consoles were all interchangeable. You could play any Game Boy or Game Boy Color game on any of the Game Boy consoles, except the difference between the Game Boy Advance games was that I don't know if you know this. I'm just saying this for people who might not know this sort of stuff. The Game Boy Advance, you could only play Game Boy Advance games on a Game Boy Advance. You couldn't do it on any of the other Game Boy consoles. Let's make sure this doesn't pause and go to a black screen with some creepy music. So, anyway, so yeah, Game Boys were just elaborations of one Game Boy to another. They had four of them total. Oh, and the Game Boy Advance, they even came out with the Game Boy Advance DS, which you probably have seen. It is the flip screen Game Boy. I got it right here, actually. It is the. Oh no! Again. Okay, I'm putting you over here. That way you can't fall off the bed. So the Game Boy Advance SP is basically the smallest Game Boy. I mean, look at it. Look at how small that is. Now, once you open it up, it's a different story. You got. But I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of small. So yeah, Game Boy was all about upgrades. NES to SNES was all about upgrades. GameCube, let's get back to that. So they had really great discs, which were mini discs. They were. That was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. They used mini discs, which you never see. You hardly ever see a mini disc. Who does that? GameCube did it, and it works great. They also had a funky controller. I say that like the N64 had a funky controller too, but it was really awesome. GameCube's controller was funky, but it was. I mean, they put the fun in funky. So, if you think that GameCube controller wasn't that great, I mean, just look at this. Look at how fun this controller looks. And they even got like a tiny right-hand analog stick that you can use. You might be like, why is it so small? So kids can play it. I mean, the Switch did sort of the same thing. They had really small buttons and things. But it's better than it being too big so a kid can't play it, which was what Xbox did originally, and then they changed. Since then, they don't do the big controllers anymore. But GameCube, yeah. Then the GameCube sort of did upgrade with the Wii, because you could play Game Boy games and hook up your GameCube controllers into the Wii. So it was like an addition. It's like, you want to upgrade your system playing? Get the Wii. And then the Wii upgraded to the Wii U, which couldn't do Game Boy. I mean, what is it? Couldn't do GameCube. Sorry. Maybe it's too early in the morning for me. So it couldn't do GameCube games or GameCube controllers. But instead of only sticking with the remote and nunchuck for the Wii, they made the addition of the Pro controller, which was awesome. So that's and you couldn't play GameCube games on the Wii U, but you could play Wii games on the Wii U. Hence Wii. I mean, why would it? So it was like three systems, one after another, which are all elaborations on the prior system. Like, even the GameCube was sort of an elaboration of the N64, because the 4-player capability was still there. You don't get a lot of great 4-player games anymore. Everything's like online or 1 or 2 player. It's sort of disappointing. I used to get really excited to have my friends over and play 4-player on one screen, or bring my system to another person's house. And yeah, it's not like that as much as it used to be, unfortunately. But moving on, what else? There was the DS family, the DS, the 3DS, and the 2DS. The DS was, the DS. The 3DS was like a better version of the DS, and the 2DS was just a experiment. Like, it was an more of a elaboration. I can't think of the right word. Experiment, elaboration, whatever. It was a different version of the 3DS, it was the same thing except without the 3D capability. So what am I trying to get at here? What is the Switch going to do? What is Nintendo going to do? What's going to be the next console? When do I expect it? I already said I expect a new console. If they come out with a new console, which I think they will. Or they could just keep Nintendo Switch as being the final console and just make games for the next 20 years. But if they come out with a new console, which I think they will, I bet it's going to come out in 2024 or 2025. give it 7 or 8 plus years on the market because it's really and then it's really successful, so it can last that long. It really can. It's a great system. It's one of the great consoles. Um, so moving on, the Nintendo Switch could do something like, you know how I said a lot of people were saying there's going to be a Switch Pro, which will be a Switch. It's the same. It'll be the same, sort of screen for the portable mode, but the dock will be in 4K. So once you dock it, you can play on a 4K television. And that's what people are expecting. That could be the next thing they do for the Switch. So if they make a new Switch, like instead of how they do the 3DS, the DS to the 3DS, it could be like a Switch to a Pro model, and that's just like maybe it uses different sort like a elaboration on the chip. I could do a different elaboration with that. Um, I could even put in mini discs for. That was an idea I had. What if in the new Switch console they had mini discs like the GameCube that you plug in, that you just slide into your. Oh, you know what? You can't even have this game online. Whatever. We're not actually playing, but it's good music. Um, so you could slide in a mini disc into the new Switch. That'll be something. But that's not a real big. It's not really an improvement. It's like a quality. So I mean, you have the capability of doing that. Um. So yeah, what if they had the 4K? They already upgraded the screen. I don't think they can make it any better than it is, unless they make it bigger, which would be silly because it's big enough already. I don't think they're gonna. And it would play all the old Switch games. You'd be able to play your old Switch games on it. Um, One thing they would definitely need to do if it's the same. So, well, I'll get into that in a second. So, what if, see, 4K's been out for a while now. Is Nintendo just going to stop there and be like, okay, it's just 4K? You know what could happen? I'd be satisfied with either. But if it's coming out in 2024 or especially 2025, we already got 8K capabilities on other consoles. So, you have another console. It's like the PS5 is 8K capabilities, just the cutscenes. Same thing with the Xbox Series X, just the cutscenes are 8K. By the time the new Nintendo console comes out, what if they have? It's like, what if they have? What was I gonna say? So if the new Nintendo console comes out and it's 8K compatible, it would probably be like around the same time that Sony and Xbox upgrade theirs to make all of the gameplay 8K as well as on top of the cutscenes being in 4K. So it's very possible they could come up with a new Nintendo system that is 8K, and it could even be a standalone system like 64 was. Here's the thing: if they keep the Switch as the portable console, since I said they can't really improve it, they could just keep it on the market for all time until until I don't know until until it just fades away. Like not all companies last forever, so they could just keep the Switch as the permanent thing, and come out with newer models with upgraded storage capacity, of course, because I would expect the Switch if they keep the Switch or make a new Switch or something, I would expect them to come with like 5 terabyte console space, for storage for games. I mean, I just because what else are they going to do with it? They can't really do much else with it. They already doubled the storage space from 32 to 64 gigabytes, and I happen to have. I just got the 400 gigabyte storage as micro SD card for the new one because I thought I might need extra space. Um, so yeah, this what would happen was there would be a home console Nintendo product that would come out for 8K, and they would keep the Switch on the market just because they know they're going to get sales. Like, like the sales wouldn't change so much. There's not many improvements you can really do to the portable consoles at this point. Nintendo's already covered everything. But if they have a new Nintendo console for a home console, it wouldn't necessarily be an upgraded Switch. It could be its own thing. Um, what else is I going to say? Let's see. So that's just where I think Nintendo's headed. And I want to say one more thing about the portable consoles is if they do a upgraded portable console, it's like how are they going to be able to get all the storage space they need into those little chips for the games? They might do something like they might use the same sort of discs that the GameCube had, and you put that would be more storage space, and it wouldn't. I see that as a possibility for a new upgraded portable console, portable Switch console. You put the mini disc in, like a mini GameCube disc, and um, yeah. So that would be for the new portable Nintendo console, mini disc rather than with also the capability of the chips, so you can play the old games. That's right. And one more thing before I go. This isn't going to be a quick thing. Super Smash Brothers Sora came out. Now, I wasn't too thrilled for this, to be honest. I mean, I think Disney just did it because they like to take over every market they possibly can. It's like they're trying to take over the world like UPS or something. Or Amazon. They just want their they just want everything to be under their supervision. Or this wouldn't even be supervision, but it's like they have to put their influence into everything. It's crazy. Um, but Kingdom Hearts, like, I don't see why they would. I know they're bringing Kingdom Hearts to Nintendo. Yeah, I get it, but it hasn't been on Nintendo. Nintendo's been not putting in the best characters for Smash. Like, I think the best characters were in the original, and then they started doing some weird things later. I mean, even Jigglypuff was alright because if you do down B with Jigglypuff, it sends the enemy flying. I'm sure Jigglypuff isn't the greatest character, but you can send your opponent flying with just the down B move if you hit him right on target. Ever since then, they've been adding some strange characters into their roster. Not necessarily bad characters. More likely, it's like, oh, Sonic, right? Yeah, yeah, but Sonic's a Sega character. Why would they add Sonic? And so, well, about Disney characters, if they did Disney, since Disney's buying out everything already, it's like, why don't they just put in a Marvel character? Make mine Marvel, you guys. I would like to see Spider-Man or Iron Man in Super Smash Brothers. I mean, who? I already told you I want to make a Marvel Bash Out game in a previous video. It's like it's Super Smash Brothers but Marvel characters. This has nothing to do with it. No, I don't think Disney and Marvel are the best choices for characters. I mean, yes, they're popular and everyone wants them in, but I don't think it's the right choice. Maybe if they put Sora in before being the last character, that might work. But I haven't played Kingdom Hearts much anyway. I don't have too much of an opinion on it. But it's not a Nintendo. It's not really much of a Nintendo game. Like I said in the last video, uh, the one where I talked about Super Smash Brothers, like who's it going to be? I was talking about different Pokemon it could be. I do think Joanna Dark is one of the best choices they could have done, and they didn't do it because, let's be real here. I mean, Bayonetta. One second. Bayonetta. Let's see if it says what it's. Does it say the rating? Wait, let's try that again. Bayonetta rating. I'm not talking about reviews. I'm talking about. I thought it was. Yeah, it's rated mature. So I don't know why they put Bayonetta into Smash, but if they're doing that, they probably should have put Joanna Dark in as the final character. I mean, Perfect Dark was like one of the greatest games ever. Now, just like Disney's taking over, James Bond could easily take over. They could have put James Bond in as the final character. That would have been better than Sora. But the thing is, that's more of a movie franchise, as is Disney. Why would Disney or James Bond be in a Nintendo franchise? Like, if anything, if they're gonna do something different, maybe Master Chief would have been right. But that's not even Nintendo either. That's Xbox. Yeah, Master Chief would be great, but who were some of the best ones? I think Joanna Dark, Vector Man, which you might not know Vector Man. He was a Sega Genesis game character. This is Vector Man. They also had a Vector Man 2. These were great games. Oh yeah. The Vector Man would be like a good opponent to have against Samus from Metroid. Vector Man's really great. He's an awesome character. Um, yeah, so yeah, I think Vector Man would be great, even though it's old school. Some of these are going to be old school. Gex, the Gecko, who makes all those references for television, like TV series references. I mean, that would be a great addition. Some people might be like Spyro or or what's it called? Spyro, Croc, or I like Croc a lot, but Gex would be better, or even Crash Bandicoot. But I think Gex wins it all because Gex was indeed on some Nintendo consoles. There's Gex Enter the Gecko, which is the second one, and Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko, the third one. Those are both on the N64. Um, and they could even bring Gex back. Like, they could make a Gex 4. I don't think they would. But they could, and it would be a huge success. Because Gex really, I think, he was just so funny. He'd be a great character to be in Smash. And his taunt, I mean, oh man, it couldn't get much better than that. Or could it? Like I told you, there are a lot of in the video I told you about earlier that I did. I was talking. One of the things I was talking about was Zelda characters. Like Lana would be a good hero to have, and then there were a bunch of villains you could do too. Of course, Torterra and Rillaboom from Pokemon would be great. Golem from Pokemon would be great. Not Lord of the Rings Golem. Golem from Pokemon. Or speaking of Rock type, Onyx would be great, and Brock had an Onyx. Onyx is really big, so it'd have to be a small or medium small size Onyx, not something huge like Bruno would have. Like a regular size Onyx. I think Golem would be better, but because he's smaller. But Onyx will be something very different. It'll be a big character in a Smash Brothers setting. I don't know how it would work. Um, but like I said, oh yeah, also the DK and Star Fox characters, like I said before, those would be great. I was talking about Master Chief would be a great pick, even though he's Xbox. Um, Knuckles and Tails. I was talking about Sonic before, right? Knuckles and Tails, they would be one of those would be a great addition to Super Smash Brothers. Some people might say Eggman. Not everything has to be villains. I do think Leon Pawlowski would be a great Star Fox villain to be in the game, but you know, not everything has to be villains. I wouldn't say Eggman. I'd say Knuckles or Tails. All right, I'm almost at the end here. Finally, the last character would have to be last but not least. This isn't one character actually. It's a series of games, which was it became part of PlayStation's territory, and they kind of took over the games for many years. With the seventh one, and that is, can you guys guess it? Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 1 through 6. Now, not all of them were in America, so technically, I think three of them were on the NES and SNES or something, and the other three were only in Japan or so. I don't know where they were sold. Maybe Korea. I don't know, you guys, but I do know that I think there were three of them in the U.S. They re-released some of them later, so I played all six of them a little bit. The first one I played a lot of. Now, the second one, I couldn't really get very far into it because of I couldn't figure out what to do. Like everything would explode near me, and I couldn't figure out how to get past the explosions. Every time I would die, and I don't know if I do a stream or something, or if you just have any tips for how do I get past it, that would be awesome. Final Fantasy 3, I just got it for the DS. I played Final Fantasy 1 through 6 on the PlayStation, except for 3, which wasn't available. I have Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on the Game Boy now. Ooh, I might need something to drink. I have Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on the Game Boy now for the Game Boy Advance. I have Final Fantasy 3 and 4 on the DS. I have Final Fantasy 4 on the Game Boy Advance. We're going to get 5 and 6 on the Game Boy Advance. Um, so any of the characters, like especially the main characters from any of those games, would be great because those were real Nintendo and Famicom classics. It wasn't about PlayStation at that point. They're taking the Final Fantasy VII PlayStation characters and putting them in. Why can't they put in Final Fantasy 1 through 6 characters? Now, 1, even though that's the one I played most, it's more of a RPG type game where you create your own character, like I guess Dungeons and Dragons, Shadowrun, something like that, like out of a book game. But as a video game, it was a lot like that. You could create your own characters. So basically, what I'm saying is, if you had a character from a Final Fantasy game 1 through 6, you probably cut one out of it. It'd have to be from 2 through 6. But honestly, that would have been probably the best choice. I know I didn't think of it until now, but that would have been the best choice. I mean, the Pokemon are cool too, but everyone's complaining about Pokemon. About there being too many Pokemon or Fire Emblem characters, but Final Fantasy, they could really use another character from that. Oh yeah, that would have been the best choice, hands down, for a new Smash Brothers character. Now, what was I going to say? I think there was something else. There definitely was something else, and now I'm drawing a blank. Um, let's see. So what were we talking about? So Final Fantasy characters, Pokemon. I was gonna say something about. I'm sorry, guys. Hang on, just a minute, just a little more here. Um, oh, Fire Emblem. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, they have plenty of Fire Emblem characters too, and a lot of people complain about, the, you know, Too many. Now, if they did do another one, I think Lysithea would be great. Xander could be good too, especially if he's on his horse, because that's completely different. You don't have any characters on their horses. Now, Xander has a sword, but if he's on his horse, that'll make it a completely different gameplay experience, something completely new. Um, Xander would be great. So would Camilla with her axe. I gotta get a drink. Camilla would be great with her axe. So that's it for final. These are my final thoughts for Smash, for Nintendo's next console. This is just about everything. Um, yeah. So I really think that there should be a Final Fantasy character from Final Fantasy 2 through 6. That would really be a game changer in many ways. I mean, that was Nintendo's property back in the day. You know, Famicom had the Final Fantasy franchise under their wing. Why couldn't they use a character from one of those? I mean, maybe people don't play them as much. I mean, that's when Nintendo was in its prime, so it's like, why wouldn't they use a character from a classic series that was on the Nintendo? Yeah, Lysithea would be awesome. I love Lysithea. Xander and Camilla. I mean, they were released a while ago, but I feel like they could use more. Final. I feel like they could use more Fire Emblem Fates, or even like Lysithea is Three Houses, but she'd be, that's the most recent one. So why not have her in it? Why not? What they should have. I think Lysithea would be my top choice. Then Xander, then Camilla. But only Xander if he's on his horse. Because otherwise it wouldn't be... It would be too much of the same thing. Which we don't want or need. Yeah, that's all for now, guys. I'll see you in the next video.